It ain't great. We're having some issues this morning.
I'm trying to check.
I'm just debating internally whether I just put up with it or we just bail and we like this is the eternal problem that we deal with. Maybe we'll bail. Let's just bail and we'll try again in a couple of minutes.
We are up on YouTube.
Okay, were we up the first 2 times?
No, we weren't.
So why would that be the case?
I'm not Mr.
Griffin. You don't stop getting defensive.
All right. Well, I'm frustrated as well, and I don't have the answer.
You're getting defensive. Stop. This is.
Well, I just don't want you to make sure. I want to make sure you know I'm not okay with it.
I'm not okay. Well, that's a different conversation for a different day. That's what I deal with. It's this defensiveness. I'm not. It'd be one thing if I said I think you're a failure. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate Brian letting me know that he can hear me. I have no idea what else is going on today. I don't know why. Technology.
We're very much up on audio.
Oh, God, I feel so bad for people that are listening on audio that had to deal with all that. Oy. Just don't know what's happening with technology today. And it's definitely worse because it's in front of me. This is the part where, Griffin in the past when these things would happen would just try to hide them from me. He would just try to be like, oh, no, everything was good. Great show today.
By the way, the first 15 minutes.
Great show today, Captain.
By the way, the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, nobody ever saw it. It was just you talking into the void. I'd be like, oh, thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate it. But now I can see it right in front of me when there's a problem. I have a screen that shows me what's going on, and so it becomes dramatically worse for me. Where I'm like, what am I doing here?
Well, sometimes it makes the show a lot better.
Poor Brian's sitting here trying to get my breakdown of the Ravens game, and I can't do it because I'm infuriated the technology isn't working. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Sometimes it makes the show a lot better.
Does it, though?
You being able to know what's going on.
Yeah, that might be true. I'm not trying to suggest we get rid of that. No. By all means. Do not get rid of that. It's just, things. I'd like it for things to work. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Project Game Day. I was trying to explain because next week I might not be part of the show. We're finalizing that in the next day or two. It would end my Cal Ripken Jr. streak.
Of every post game.
There's never been a Project Game Day that I wasn't part of, ever. It's never occurred. Which Brian started a hashtag blame Griffin.
What the hell?
I do like that, Brian.
This Brian. What's Brian? This is Brian.
No, it's Brian G. This is.
Okay. I don't know. Do I know Brian?
I don't know if you know.
What
Brian
the hell, Brian?
I love that though. Let's keep that hashtag going.
No, that's a stupid hashtag.
No, it's a perfect hashtag.
No one should use that hashtag.
No,
ever.
It's the exact hashtag we should use about lots of topics around here. Moral of the story being, so if I'm not there, Andrew Stetka is going to be running the show next week. Everybody else will still be part of it. Rita, KZ, and Tyus, and I guess Griffin, but hashtag blame Griffin. But Andrew Stetka would be running point for the show, and so he and I were talking last night about what this might look like if I'm not part of the show, and I was like, well, it just sort of depends on how it goes. If they win, it'll be a nice, cool, calm, collected, you guys will just be chatting, having a good time. If they lose, then I'm going to need Griffin to feed you all of the comments, all the nasty things people are saying, because people will be losing their damn minds.
Well, I can tell you what they're going to say.
Fire everybody. Fire Harbaugh, fire Orr, fire Munkin, fire...
Cut number 77.
Real fan Dan, probably. Fire...
His fault.
Everyone.
They lose in Cleveland.
DaCosta, fire them all. Fire them all will be the way that it goes.
This is the first kind of game now in this stretch. They're coming out of the bye. It's been you don't want to face... now the Browns just lost to the Jets.
They did.
It's
That's the thing that happened.
But
they are going to start Dylan Gabriel again because you can't give up on that type of talent.
But this is the Bills going into Miami this week.
Damn, man.
With the Ravens taking on the Browns.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that, I guess. Although, for whatever you feel, the Dolphins at least have a quarterback that at some point has been good.
Yeah. That's true.
At some point.
And they have a receiver that is healthy.
One, yeah.
And then running back's good.
I mean, the Browns have one receiver. That's unfair.
Who?
He's not as good as Waddle.
Harold Fannon's a tight end.
No, I'm saying Judy. Jerry Judy is a qualified NFL wide receiver.
Qualified, sure.
He is a qualified.
Steve Smith reminds me that
he's not as good as Jalen Waddle. I just said that. But he's a qualified NFL wide receiver. Every team would take Jerry Judy on their team.
Probably, I guess. Not the Broncos.
Probably.
Not the Broncos.
Not the Broncos?
Well, I mean, they got rid of him.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Look at their. You watch them play on Thursday night?
Yeah, Troy Franklin's pretty good.
Yeah.
They were missing Marvin Mims.
That's probably what it was.
They would have scored probably like 30 points if they had Marvin
or 12, maybe. They might have done that. But join us for Project Game Day every game day. It's PressBoxOnline.com/game day. As always, it's brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Inn and Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. My big takeaways, I'm going to write today at PressBoxOnline.com. The Ravens were good enough to win. They need to be better. But that's boring. Like, I can't write 800 words about that in a compelling way. That's a really quick thing to say. I can't do a 30-minute monologue about it here on this show. The Ravens were good enough to win and are getting better and are turning themselves into a viable Super Bowl contender again, in part because no one in the NFL is infallible. I do still think that there's separation between, like, the Eagles and the Ravens. So they need to keep getting better. And that's the point that I make. Like, the point that you make is they need to get better. But what I ended up writing about, because I can't give you 800 words, I think we all know that. I think we all understand from watching. That's good enough. It needs to be better. But I was fascinated by some of the angst about decisions. I've said before, like, whenever I finally do away with this show, and it could be you could just wake up on a Thursday morning and just say enough. I'm sick of the technology. I'm sick. Blame Griffin.
Thursdays are the best shows. We do our picks.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But when that goes away, the next web series that I would do would be process versus result. I've talked about process versus result for a long time. I am fascinated by the way that we look at process versus result. And the way that we obsess over result when sometimes the result just occurred despite the fact that the process was good. Yesterday, there were 2 or 3, to me, really debatable moments. And 2 of them, I ultimately agreed with the Ravens about. One of them, not quite as much. The 3 moments were the decision to kick the 56-yard field goal, throwing the ball from 3rd and 17 at your own 7-yard line, and then the one that really jumped out at me, of course, was the one at the end of the game out of the 2-minute warning when it was 3rd and 4, and they attempted to throw the ball with the Vikings not having any timeouts. And the internet, because, again, people on the internet, it's amazing, they know math. And so the internet reacts and says, well, that just cost you 40 seconds. Just for funsies, do you know what the Ravens' win probability was before that play?
So they were up 27-19, had the ball inside their own 10, right?
This is not.
This is
the
not the third down.
It is the third down. It's the third down at the 2-minute warning.
I was thinking about the other one that you were talking about. It was probably 98%.
It's 93.7%, or 97.3%.
Okay, and then
the next play, they stopped the clock.
Right,
incomplete pass. What was their win probability after that play?
97.1. It
was 96. They lost 1.3%. That's not nothing, right? Say that's the window that gets another team into the game. Now, I'm going to guess that you understand how this works. If the Ravens had converted that pass play on 3rd and 4, they would have gotten a first down, right? And then what would their win probability have been at that point?
I believe it would have been 100.
Well, no, they can never be 100 until it says 0. It would have been 99.9% because there's always the chance of a fumbled snap or something like that. It can't be 100 until it's 100. 99.9%. What's the difference between 99.9 and 97.3?
It'd be about, 2.5?
2.6.
2.6.
That's a rough. That's not great. What's the difference between 97.3 and 96.0?
I rounded the nearest half. I have 0.5. 1.5.
1.3. Oh, my God. What is going on here? I
thought you said 96.7.
97.3 and 96.0 were the numbers that I gave you.
You're throwing too many numbers at me.
So one had a 2.6% boost reward. The risk was 1.3%. So what would be another way of saying that?
Is that the risk outweighed
the reward?
Sorry, reward. Yeah, there you go.
Was twice as valuable as the risk. 1.3 to 2.6. Now, again, both of them are marginal numbers. But the reward was twice as valuable as the risk. Now, I understand that it's not that black and white. And that within factoring risk, you also have to factor the risk of something that could have gone dramatically wrong on that play. And that's where I think there's a conversation to be had. Because calling that play, I absolutely am saying to Lamar Jackson, dude, if you do not have a clean passing lane, you are not throwing this ball. We cannot welcome risk. And as we know, Andrew Van Ginkel knocked the ball up in the air, and it could have been disastrous. Lamar had to come flying back in and knock the ball down to make sure it didn't end up being worse. So I understand that risk is a more complicated factor when it comes to that conversation. That play, to me, there has to be, if that play exists, there has to be an understanding of Lamar. Dude, if there is a linebacker in your face, you hit the ground and you keep the clock running. But the decision to attempt to pass the ball, it's bizarre to me how many people on the internet, and I like Jeff Schwartz. He's a person we've had on a ton of times over the years. I've been on his shows over the years. I don't know Darius Butler, who was piling on. I don't know these guys. But the simplistic way of looking at, well, it just cost you 40 seconds. Like, we all know that. But I do remember in week 1, and I don't know, because I know that in 2025 Ravens world, it feels like week 1 was 6 million years ago. I mean, it couldn't feel like week 1 was any longer ago. But in week 1, the Ravens were playing the Bills, and if I remember correctly, the Bills were out of timeouts inside of 2 minutes to play. And the Ravens, on 4th and 3, decided to punt the ball. And again, maybe I don't remember everything perfectly, but I feel like I remember there being an awful lot of hullabaloo about the fact that the Ravens chose to punt the ball in that spot and didn't let Lamar Jackson try to go win the game. I feel like I remember that. Okay. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm just making something up in my mind. But I feel like I remember us losing our minds about the fact that the Ravens gave the ball back to the Bills and didn't attempt to win the game on 4th down. And I understand that J.J. McCarthy is not Josh Allen. By the way, that might be part of the thought process. Even with 2 minutes left, there still wasn't much chance of the Vikings winning the game because J.J. McCarthy is, at least at this point in his career, limited. But the result is the issue. The process, the decision, is one that I'm going to stand by all the time. You have Lamar Jackson. I'm good with you trying to win the game on your terms. Dictate that. Go win. Go win the game. Now, it's complicated because, as I said, if I'm calling that play, I'm saying to Lamar, if there is anything other than a clean passing lane, you are going down on the ground. That's where I'm mitigating risk. What Lamar did to me is on him. That was reckless. That's not on the Ravens. That's on him choosing to throw that ball there. He saw that Andrew Van Ginkel was right in front of him. And I know that Lamar kind of believes he's Superman, and there's a lot of evidence that he can be. But there's no way I'm okay with him throwing that ball in that spot. But the decision itself, we're angry about the result. The decision mathematically made sense. Mathematically, the reward was twice as great as the risk. And the same people that are losing their minds about the decision are the same people that have said before, you want the Ravens to be the team that's aggressive and trying to win and letting Lamar Jackson win games himself. I'm not as okay with the 3rd and 17 call. Thought that was insane. Insane. Up by 2 scores, 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes left. Throwing the ball from your own end zone. 3rd and 17. Incredibly low risk of converting that. Nuts allowing that to stop the clock. That's bonkers. Kicking the field goal, good with. At some point, we got to figure out if this kid's a kicker or not, and we have no idea. It's one of those things that, like, as there's positive momentum building, like we're kind of ignoring. We have no idea if the Ravens have an NFL kicker on their roster or not. No clue. So 56-yarder indoors, I mean, you got to figure out if this kid can kick. I hope he can, but today, do I know that Tyler Loop can kick in the NFL? Not a clue if he can do it. Let's talk about a bunch of these things. Joining us now here on GCR, he, of course, covers the Ravens over at 105.7 The Fan. He is our buddy Cordell Woodland, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Cordell, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Not bad, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm discussing a bunch of stuff. I want to talk big picture, but just your thoughts on these three issues that came up during the game yesterday. And I'm telling you, I stand by it. I have absolutely zero problem with them rolling out and throwing a ball on 3rd and 4 and trying to win the game. I will never, ever second guess trying to win when you have Lamar Jackson and dictating the games on your terms.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've beaten them up for that in the past. I heard you had mentioned the Bills game. In no world would I have sent the defense back out there in a game where they had already shown they couldn't stop anything. And you got to have a feel for the game. The context matters. So what's going on as you lead up to that point? And like you said, you have Lamar Jackson. And I'll even add to that, you got Derrick Henry in your backfield. Like, any 4th and short with the game on the line, I'm going for it. I'm without a doubt, I'm going for it, because you have to have faith that you have at least some sort of play call that can get you the few yards you need, combined with you having generational talent in your backfield, and you're putting the ball in the hands of one of, if not the best quarterback in the league. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always going to lean to be aggressive. This is a quarterback league. This is an offensive-driven league, and when you have premier players like that, you got to be willing to kind of go down with the ship, so to speak. So, look, I have no problem with them doing that. There wasn't the cleanest game yesterday,
no,
but I expected there to be some ebbs and honestly more ebbs and flows than there honestly were. The first half wasn't great, but I thought the Ravens really started to assert their will in the second half.
What are we doing about, how are we talking about Tyler Loop, Cordell? Because I'm being tough on him, but it's in context, right? Like, the Ravens at some point might need Tyler Loop to be able to make a 54-yarder to win a game, and frankly, their season might come down to it. And I understand the argument for you got to let a guy develop and all of that stuff, but there's two different conversations happening here. It's what's best for the young man and becoming a kicker long-term is not necessarily what's best for the Ravens and trying to make a playoff run this season. It is alarming to me that in that spot, that an indoor kick of 56 yards to me is on the borderline of has to happen for an NFL kicker. And I know it's not perfect. Like Cameron Dicker last night made like a 59-yarder, then turned around and missed one. But like, we've seen him make one kick of over 50 yards yet in his NFL career. I've got real questions about Tyler Loop as someone who can be counted on in big spots.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't necessarily had the situation come up to where it is all on his shoulders. And they have been careful with him. I mean, he's 16 for 18 on the year, but the two misses have been 50-plus yards. So that's kind of the hang-up. I guess if you want to look at the silver lining, it is the fact that he does have a cannon of a leg for the most part. I don't think distance is the problem, but he has been playing with fire over these last couple of games, kind of just barely getting that ball. That ball is kind of tight roping inside the upright. So, and look, it came to bite him a little bit yesterday. I think, to be honest, I've been a little surprised that there have been opportunities in some of these games in lower leverage situations to where he has had chances to try some longer distance field goals, and they have opted to either punt or go for it. So I think they're still trying to figure out how much they really trust Tyler Loop. And you don't want a game to have to come down to the kicker, no matter really who the kicker is. You'd like to win a game definitively with your offense. But at some point, Yeah, it is going to come down to, okay, let's see what this kid's got and let's see what his clutch gene looks like. But, I am curious to see as the year goes on what Tyler Luke looks like. I mean, to this point, it hasn't been a lot of bad. Yesterday's miss, sure. But, yeah, like I said, they haven't really he hasn't found himself in a lot of crucial kick situations.
Yeah, he hasn't had a fireable offense, right? Like
right.
There hasn't been, famously once upon a time in Minnesota, Stephen Hauschka missing a fairly chip shot field goal to end the game that ended up costing his job and leading to Billy Cundiff in Baltimore. But yeah, it's just a conversation that I'm keeping. I don't know. You bring it up. It's not just that the miss from 56. It's that, my God, every time the ball comes off his foot, all of us are like, is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of that. Cordell Woodland with us here on GCR. Cordell, the good. Let's talk about the good. The good is the defense does appear as though it's fully turned. And I'm not yet, ready to declare that this is a championship caliber defense or anything along those lines. But the things have turned, and I think that we have to acknowledge that it's real how much they've turned.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, it couldn't get any worse. I mean, that's, I guess, a little bit of a benefit for them, that they were really at rock bottom as a defense. They weren't tackling. They weren't getting after the quarterback. They weren't forcing turnovers. They couldn't stop the run. I mean, they weren't doing anything well on the defensive side of the ball. And now, they have been a little bit more bend but don't break, but I do think that they have shown some flexibility on the defense with the looks that they're given, the pressures that they're sending. It seems like they are dialing up more of these schematic pressures more than they were in the first half of the season. Obviously, moving Kyle Hamilton up into the box that's the key. It changes their defense dramatically when they're able to do that. And getting Haloe Gilman, it didn't break news, and it was a little head scratching because they're trading a pass rusher at a time that they need a pass rusher. But Haloe Gilman, ever since he's come here, I just think he fits the personnel. He gives them that physical safety on the back end that's smart, that can kind of play up in the box a little bit, but they can also trust him on the back end. He has been a part of a couple of these forced turnovers. But again, I think just moving Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage and kind of using him as this, like, whatever the issue is, send him there. If we need somebody to get out to the quarterback on third down, send Kyle Hamilton. If you got a running back that you're having trouble guarding on some of those choice routes, send Kyle Hamilton. If they're killing you with some of those bubble screens, send Kyle Hamilton. So, I mean, he has fixed a lot of their issues. And look, last year it was we needed Kyle Hamilton to be, the deeper safety to cut off some of those splash plays that they were giving up. Fix that. Now this year is, we need Kyle Hamilton to be closer to the line of scrimmage so he can generate more pressure, so he can generate more splash plays for our defense. And he's done that as well. I think that's money well spent. But as long as they can stay healthy and as long as 14 is on the field, I mean, he's reaching, for me at least, Lamar Jackson territory for his importance to the defense. I think that's what his role is. So as long as he's there and able to play this role and they don't have to move too many pieces around him, I think the defense could sustain this. And, of course, their easy schedule coming up helps that as well.
What did you make of Draymond Jones in his first performance as a Baltimore Raven?
I liked it. I thought he brought some energy. He brought some actual pass rush moves that worked. He generated pressure. He didn't necessarily get the sack, of course, but you can see it a little bit.
He flushed him out a couple of times, right?
Yeah, you can see it. And this is just him here, on a couple of days. I'm sure I don't know how detailed, his assignments were out there yesterday, but I'm sure they tried to simplify it as best as possible considering he just got here. So it was just really go after the quarterback. And I thought he helped with that. Like you said, he flushed him out a couple of times, and you're going up against what's essentially a rookie quarterback. So just making him uneasy, making him have to second guess what he's seeing or have to move off that spot, that's a win in itself. So, yeah, I thought Sunday was a good start for Draymond Jones.
I agree. I thought it was encouraging, and I'm not trying to pretend like I think that suddenly the Ravens have a weaponized edge rush, but I certainly thought it was far more complete, and that was evident during the course of the game. The offense was not great yesterday, Cordell. It was functional. It was good enough to win, but it wasn't great. And look, some of that is Brian Flores has really done a nice job blitzing Lamar Jackson and making him uncomfortable, and you got to tip your cap to that, and I'm going to guess that more teams are going to attempt it, considering now it's worked a couple of times for Brian Flores. But I think the bigger question is how you come out of the bye and then come out of the trade deadline, and you're sort of still in this position where we're continuing to discuss the guards. And, again, in the run game, when they got going in the second half, they got downfield. Like, they definitely made a difference when the Ravens got a lead and we're just trying to run the ball with Derrick Henry. But the pass protection just continues to be problematic, and there's no solving it from outside anymore. I know everybody's going to continue to talk about Emory Jones, but that's someone who's never played in the NFL and isn't even a guard. I don't know what you do at this point and how you assume that it gets any better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I just don't know. And, we're now at the point of the season to where I said this to myself the other day at practice. I think the offensive line issues or the alarms ringing for everybody when it comes to this offensive line, the public's sense of urgency towards the offensive line does not match the coaching staff's sense of urgency with this offensive line. They're showing you. They're telling you. Every time they're asked about the offensive line, they brush it off. Mm-hmm. John at one point said he doesn't know why he continues to get asked about potential changes. That was with the coaching staff. Let me change that. But he has scoffed at the offensive line questions as well, to the point to where you don't really get them asked anymore, because it's like, how many different ways can it be phrased? And I don't think that they have the Emory Jones of it. Look, we don't know when Emory Jones is going to get on the field, if at all, this season. I'm fully prepared to not see Emory Jones this year. That wouldn't shock me. Now, I'm not saying that that's the definite or that's what's going to happen, but we're in uncharted territory. This kid has missed all of the off-season activities and basically half of the regular season. I just don't see that really happening, at least not right now. My issue with this offensive line, and like you said, they had the drive in the fourth quarter where they were able to run the ball. But my issue is it's not the number one. Their red zone offense is a problem, and it's mainly due to them not being able to push anybody off the ball when they have to. They can't run the ball when they have to run the ball. And when you get inside the 20, you need to run the ball to have a successful red zone offense, and they just haven't shown the ability to do that consistently enough. And even just throughout the duration of the game, just too many times am I seeing Derrick Henry hit at the line of scrimmage or hit a little bit behind it. You talked about the pressure on Lamar. It's just inconsistent play at best with this offensive line. And it does start with the guards, but I just don't see that changing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's the reality. And I've thought before that maybe that you would reach a point where anything was better, but as you bring up, it is certainly something that they have been incredibly defensive about. So there is, although I say that like they've been incredibly defensive about it, and yet then when they were sitting at 1-5, you heard John Harbaugh say a couple of times they would consider changes, only to not consider changes at all. So I just don't know.
That's how it goes. I mean, I guess maybe he thought that they were going to, and then the Rams game happened and said, whoa, hold up. We were able to run the ball, and Snoop looked good, and we're getting Lamar back. Let's see what this thing looks like. Yep. And now they've gotten hot, and it's like, do you mess with the formula even though it's not pretty? It's working. I don't know. And then there's the question of how much better are the guys behind them, to the coaches at least. It doesn't matter what we think, but to the coaches, it doesn't seem like they think the people behind them are any better.
Yes, but Cordell, this is where someone would remind you that they also didn't have Keaton Mitchell active for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, they're not they're not perfect.
Right.
It's just they're the ones that make the decisions, and until they wake up and see the things, or they feel like it's a big enough problem to where a change needs to happen. And it'd be nice if one of these backup guards or somebody forced their hand. I mean, it feels like, I've said it before, it feels like people want Ben Cleveland to play more than Ben Cleveland wants Ben Cleveland to play.
I'm with you on that. That Ben Cleveland, I've never been the guy that was going war for Ben Cleveland. Like, that one's the one that we have seen. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see more. Like, I'm okay on that one. Like, to me, if there was a change we made, it'd be giving Corey Bullock a chance just because we don't know,
I agree.
right? Like, we don't know.
I agree.
But I am with you where I can't say definitively that Corey Bullock would definitely be better than Daniel Faalele. Just, I don't know that he isn't. That's the only thought process there. Cordell, when can people hear you?
Yeah, you can check me out on The Fan. You can download the Odyssey app, listen wherever you are. You can hear me on the shows all throughout the week. My show, Fresh Take, will be coming back in about 2 weeks. We'll be returning to evening. So on a little bit of a hiatus, got Maryland basketball back, a lot of different sports programming on. But once we get our chance to get back on the airwaves, we'll do so. And hey, maybe the Ravens will still be winning at that point.
Hey, man, based on the schedule, there's every reason to think that, but they can't let up, obviously, as they go to Cleveland this week. At Cordell Woodland, where he's a bad guy and talking about how happy he was that Georgetown beat Maryland on Friday night.
I actually kept that to myself.
Did you? I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. I'm pretty
you saw
sure.
A video of a Georgetown bucket. You did see that.
I think I might have seen it somewhere. Always appreciate you, buddy. Great to hear from you. Let's talk again soon, all right?
Appreciate it, Glenn. That's
Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan with us here on GCR. I don't know what to tell you about the offensive line thing, because I would tell you. Now, again, look, man, 3 weeks ago I would have told you I thought the Ravens needed to finally make a move with Zach Orr, and I'm going to be wrong. I know that sounds crazy. I know that the standards that you have for me are far different than the standards you have for Griffin. Hashtag blame Griffin, of course.
Why are you trying to perpetuate that?
I thought it was interesting. People are talking, Griffin. People are talking. We need to react to what people are saying. We have to live in the moment.
We don't react to everything people say.
We have to live in the moment. We have to be aware of what's being discussed and what's out there, and just consider it is what I would say.
Consider it.
Now, everybody expects that I am always right. Like, I get it. I've built up that reputation, but believe it or not,
I do. As
Rita says, pimps slip up too. And I still don't know if Zach Orr is gonna. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
I don't understand. That's what she says. And she's right. Even us pimps, every now and then.
You know what?
We slip up too. It's crazy. And I don't know in the end how we're going to feel about Zach Orr. I don't know if we're going to get to the end of the season and be like, yeah, as it turns out, that was fool's gold there for a couple of weeks. But I have to acknowledge it's probably for the best. The Ravens kept continuity, and they're in the position they're in right now. That they decided that the changes could come personnel-wise instead of coaching-wise. At the moment, that looks like the right decision, and it looks like I was wrong. I know. I'm as surprised as you are. But believe it or not, every now and then, I'm wrong. It's crazy how that works. That said, my opinion today, like if somebody walked in and said, would you swap out one of Faalele or Voorhees for Corey Bullock? My answer would be yes, I would do that. Because I think you've reached the point where, like, you need to just figure out if Corey Bullock can be better. And ultimately, maybe I would be wrong. That's just my opinion. My opinion would be you got to give somebody else a chance. You got to see if you can get some more consistency. At least one. I might argue both. And I do. I think in particular Voorhees has gotten better in the run game.
I agree with that.
I think that he's gotten better, and I think we started talking about that like.
It was definitely noticeable yesterday.
But oddly, Faalele has always been graded well in the run game. But we don't see it. His grades in the run game have always been pretty good. It's pass protection that becomes problematic. So, yes, I'd probably be more inclined to to switch out Faalele, I think that's where I'd be. I don't know. Can Joe Noteboom play guard? Can Faalele be your swing tackle? And I'm just asking.
I don't think Joe Noteboom can play anywhere.
Well, I mean, he's been in every time Ronnie Stanley's gone down.
Well, he was a healthy and active yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, Noteboom.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they are in a bind when you have no injured players.
Right, I know.
It is really hard to get to. Who were the I didn't even notice who were the inactives were.
It was like Tez Walker, Rasheen Ali, Noteboom.
Which is the first time, I think, for Ali that he has been inactive, right?
Yeah. I think the other two were.
It's a tough world, man.
Yeah.
It's a tough world. It's a great problem to have.
Emory Jones and Peebles.
And Fud Peebles, right?
Yes.
And everybody was worked up because Taven Bryan was elevated and not Carl.
He made a play or two.
Carl Lawson. Yeah, I mean, and truth be told,
had a bad pass.
With Draymond Jones now in the equation and them having 4 edge rushers, you could say the bigger need might be on the defensive line. And I don't know ultimately what Fud Peebles will be. I don't know. But it's interesting that it was Noteboom. That means that Carson Vinson was active yesterday?
Yeah. I guess that would mean that Carson Vinson was.
That is really interesting,
So if
isn't
something were to happen to one of the tackles.
Or they would have moved Faalele to tackle and one of them would have gone to guard.
That would have been something.
It's interesting. I mean, it's just interesting to me. I don't know. I couldn't possibly tell you. It is weird that Joe Noteboom had been Ronnie Stanley does get hurt, unfortunately, a fair bit.
And they're much more proactive, I guess. Is that the about trying to be careful?
Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. Anyway, moral of the story. Oh, Brian Powell's trying to start an always blame Glenn hashtag.
There we go. Hey, Brian.
Trying to start
I'm Team Brian
competing hashtags here.
Brian P versus Brian G.
Brian and Brian, the law firm. Welcome to the law firm of Brian and Brian.
I'm with Brian, by the way.
I figured you probably were. I figured that was the case. Who was who won the Mountaineers versus Mountaineers matchup?
I believe Mountaineers.
The Mountaineers came out on top.
Would in fact
came out on top. Somebody was making fun of me for that bit. No, that's a good bit. People were mad last week about our the Parker bit. No, that was John in Little Rock was mad about the Parker bit, and he wasn't mad about that. He was mad that we did that and didn't talk about the Maryland game because who wouldn't want to talk about the Maryland game? I'd rather not talk about Friday night's game at all. Rather pretend like that didn't happen. Is what it is. Not a whole lot to be said about it. At least it was a fun local weekend. Maryland lost to Georgetown, then lost football to Rutgers. Navy lost to Notre Dame. Towson did win a football game.
They won. No, they didn't.
Oh, no?
No, they did not.
Oh, no, that's sad. They lost to Villanova. That's right. I was thinking of last week. Then they lost to Houston in basketball.
Yeah, but they covered. The Towson basketball covered.
Okay, that's something.
That's true. Yeah.
You got that
they were
going
down.
for
They
you.
were down 5 with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then Houston did the Houston thing where they didn't score another basket until there were 30 seconds left in the game.
That is a weird bit.
So they lost by like 15, 20, something like that.
All right. Well, that's statement cover.
Yeah.
Morgan football lost to Delaware State on Friday night. Just a fun. When I pull up my ESPN app to watch a game, it goes first to scores and it has all my
your
favorite teams loaded, and I just see L.
Maryland women won, right? Well,
they
played
did win
UMBC.
Yesterday. No, they beat Georgetown yesterday.
Oh, they played Georgetown. Okay.
Yep, they beat Georgetown yesterday. Yeah, it was a rough weekend.
Towson women beat Frostburg State.
Look at that. Well, and that was a close one. No, I have no idea. I hope it was.
It was not close.
I hope it was. All right. I don't know what I was doing here. Oh, we were talking about the offensive line. Yeah, I don't know. I would make a move, but they apparently aren't going to be doing it, and you just hope it gets better. That's all you can say. Today's show also brought to you by CountySports.Zone. Well into playoff season and approaching championship season. I know some championships, like the MIA Soccer Championships, are given out this weekend. So if you missed any of that, you can find out about it by going to CountySports.Zone. Public schools, what's coming up, who won this weekend, who's playing next weekend. Find all of that, CountySports.Zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We'll come back in. We will go over Pats on the Ass and look back over the weekend of picks. That's next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live-action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners. But only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along here on a Monday edition of the program. At some point this week, hey, Zach Moore, what's going on with you, pal? I owe you a phone call, Zach. Remind me. Everybody that's been trying to get in touch with me, this mid-October to about Thanksgiving is about my most insane part of the year. And I haven't even been able to figure out if we're going to be able to do the full Helping Up mission drive that I really want to do, but I haven't had 2 seconds to think about it. I'm sorry. It's just the number of people that I owe phone calls to. But always good to see you. Love you. Appreciate you checking in. Stan the Fan's not doing the weekly Monday baseball shows anymore. Baseball season's over. Although this is awards week, if I remember correctly.
Who knows?
What's that?
I said, who knows?
No, I think it is this week. I'm pretty sure. I saw that on Tubular.
we're just going to
Yeah, it doesn't impact us in any way.
Manager of the year.
Yeah, right.
It's okay, that happened, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they by the way, that used to be the way that it worked. It used to be that they would just send out a press release on like a Tuesday afternoon. They wouldn't tell you when it was coming. Just on like a Tuesday afternoon, they'd be like, "Oh, by the way, here's the MVP," and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." And that was back when it was a big deal and people really. Now it's a TV show. That I can't imagine watching. Could you imagine watching one of these shows?
Yeah.
What are they doing for an hour?
Talking about
hour.
Whether it should be Aaron Judge or Cal Raleigh.
Lord. But that's this week. Anyway, Stan's not doing the baseball shows, but he will be doing some one-off shows during the course of the week. And I think Jim Smith, Maryland Athletic Director, is going to be joining him this week. And you'll be able to check those out. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium. Picks recap for the week. Let's talk about it. Well, let's not talk about Navy Notre Dame. Blake Horvath didn't play. Not that I thought they had a chance even if Blake Horvath did play. And by the way, for a moment,
I thought it was like, well, maybe this is how they cover because they have to go back to the triple option here with
with Woodside, and like Woodson, he made some plays. Like
when I didn't see the report that Horvath was at because it wasn't reported until like an hour before kickoff, right? Yeah. So I saw like 5 was in there. I was like, who's 5? I was like, who?
What is going on?
Their third running back that's making plays here, and then they cut to Horvath in no helmet, and I'm like, what happened?
49-10, Notre Dame pulverizes Navy, and part of that, I don't know, like maybe Blake Horvath absolutely could not have played. I do wonder if there was some layer of like he could play but he'd be limited, and ultimately we want to win the American, and so let's prioritize the 2 games left that we have left in the American against, really good teams. I don't know. I do not want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to do that. But my God. And yeah. Jeremiah Love's good, man. Like, there's no doubt about that. He is really good. But in moments like this, to the point, it was still only a 2-score game. At least the cover was still well in hand.
They're only down by 11 at halftime.
And it was raining, and Jeremiah Love bottled up in the backfield. And no. Oh, no.
Well.
Yeah. Got to figure out a way to beat South Florida. That's Navy's reality.
Courtesy of NBC, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Got to figure out a way to beat South Florida this Saturday, but Navy not able to get that cover at Notre Dame. Andrew, Griffin, Joe Serpico, John in Little Rock, Kyle, Paul, and Ryan were all on Navy.
That's what I get for being a Patriot, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it is. BYU never really bothered to show up in Lubbock. It was a really weird bit where I was at the gym at that time on Saturday, and I was just like, this game, first of all, it was unwatchable. Admittedly, I have not paid a lot of attention to Texas Tech, so I was not aware that they're a defensive team now. Like, all I, of course, think
Jacob Rodriguez, baby.
You think of Texas Tech, you think of Mahomes, you think of Cliff Kingsbury,
800
you think
yards
of
passing.
Graham Harrell, you think of, them scoring 70 points. So I was not aware that Texas Tech is now an utterly and completely different program.
Well, I think Barron Morton's still a little banged up, I think is what they're saying.
Okay.
So
they're also not allowed to throw tortillas anymore, which
is also really lame.
Bullshit. I mean, dude, talk about a sport stepping all over itself. Something that people are into, that are enjoying, that doesn't hurt anybody.
I don't know. It grazes your eye in the right angle. You cut a cornea or something.
My God, man. Anyway. Yeah, Texas Tech handles BYU. We were split on that one. Ryan, Kyle, James, Joe, and Andrew were on BYU and missed that. Would have been really nice to know that Missouri was playing without their quarterback. Would have been something that I would have liked to have known.
Well, Jeremy Kahn didn't know either. So
oh, no, he knew. He just, you know what Jeremy's doing. Just would have been nice to be aware that Missouri didn't have their quarterback. Because if I had known that, I don't think I would have gone with Missouri to cover against Texas A&M, who stays unbeaten. Myself, Jeremy, and Kyle Ottenheimer were on Missouri, who never really got going in that one either. The Browns. Ha ha, LOL, the Browns.
Told you, perfect spot for the Jets.
Perfect spot, you said. Perfect
Special teams touchdown, a defensive touchdown in there.
Yep, just like you knew.
Yep.
Just like you knew.
I knew that was the roadmap.
Somebody put together a Dylan Gabriel highlight video of yesterday on the internet, and it was awesome. Like, it's just, because Lord knows no one was watching Browns Jets, so like, and maybe Dylan Gabriel has made good throws. I don't know. It was wretched. I was among the many that were on Cleveland because we thought they had a defense, and that would be the one thing that would stand out. Paul Valley, Ryan Shell, Joe Serpico, and Griffin were all on the Jets. Oh yeah, this is the one. It's a guy. You're watching from a guy's TV, but it's a whole bit.
Oh darn!
Close. That one was close. It was
third and 18, and
I don't know who that was gonna be to, and then
well,
I mean that guy
fell.
fell
the
down,
receiver
right?
fell.
I mean you can't really.
Nice clean pocket. That was the third and 18 again.
No, I think that might have been a different play. And then, oh boy, that's tough, man. It's tough. It was set up well, though. Like, they had that going for him. That's courtesy of CBS and some guy's TikTok and a TV in his living room where he actively chose to watch the Browns play the Jets for some reason. So there you go. But as Griffin pointed out, this does mean the Browns ripe for a bounce back. This could be a tough spot the Ravens are walking into. Third straight road game this week. But I don't know. Tampa was 2.5-point favorites at home. Oh, this is Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. This is what was this what was this movie called? I don't remember the name of this film.
This wasn't. Remember the title?
No, it wasn't. No, it was. It was the something. It was the. She was like the cooler, the keg, or the I don't. God damn it!
I don't know the movie. I just know
how
the
was the
clip
name of
is,
that movie?
You know.
It gets used all the time. I'm aware, but I can't remember what the name of the film was. Anyway, New England does go into Tampa Bay and win outright. How about Travion Henderson? Massive game, couple of 50-yard touchdown runs. My son started him in fantasy. Didn't know who he was.
The Duff.
That's the one. Thank you. Did not know who he was, but started him as his fantasy running back and worked out well for him. Worked out well for me being on board with New England. Jeremy Kahn, James Revere, John Proctor, Kyle Ottenheimer, and Ryan Shell also on the Patriots. No reason to be on board with Arizona and Seattle. Boy, could you smell that one.
I believe it was 35-0 by the time the postgame show.
And it was 2 defensive touchdowns on fumble. And I believe they were both
helpful for my.
I believe they were both forced and recovered by the same person, if I remember correctly. Like the same guy forced both, and the same guy returned both for touchdowns. Just an abomination. Seattle blows out Arizona. Jeremy was on Arizona, so was Kyle Ottenheimer and Ryan Shell. Why? I don't know. I mean, I know that they did win a football game the previous week, but there was nothing.
Well, they beat the Cowboys, and Cowboys a good team.
Something like that.
It was
DeMarcus Lawrence. I know.
It was the same. Yeah, it was the same guy got the sack, Tyrese Knight, and then DeMarcus Lawrence got the fumble recovery both times and scored the touchdown.
Yeah, so it was the same guy in both.
Yes.
It was the same person forcing the fumble, the same guy recovering the fumble and returning it for a touchdown. What are the odds? Imagine if you had played that somehow. That's nuts. Continuing from our picks recap yesterday, I don't know why I was on the 49ers. Matt Stafford is in a crazy zone at the moment, which is nuts because he's also like 60 years old. It's insane what he's doing right now. But they go into San Francisco and win comfortably. I was on the Niners. Jeremy was on the Niners. Joe Serpico was on the Niners. So were Paul Valley and Ryan Shell. Last night, real pity to see things just falling apart for the Steelers. Just a real pity to see them, non-competitive.
I guess I got to keep picking the Steelers then. So
That's
they
a good
keep
point,
losing,
right?
Since I haven't gotten any of their games right this.
That's a good point. You better do the right thing.
No, let's not pick the Steelers game this week. Then.
25. I don't even know who they play.
I think they play the Bengals, so we probably will have to pick them.
Maybe 25-10, and it wasn't even that close. Not that the Chargers looked great. They looked fine. The Steelers just there's nothing there. And I get it, they beat the Colts the previous week, but they beat the Colts because they got an insane number of turnovers and sacks. They combined 11 turnovers and sacks in that game. And while sacks can be predictive, and the Steelers are pretty good in that department, everybody always says turnovers are not predictive, which is and John Harbaugh kind of acknowledged that after the game because he was asked about, like, the Ravens, and I think now have 8 over the last 4 weeks. And he said, well, you do have to acknowledge some of that is luck. Like, that's the thing about turnovers. I still want to be the team that's making the plays, but everyone that does NFL football data will tell you that turnovers are not predictive. If you're a team that's winning because you're causing turnovers, there is no certainty that you're going to be any good by the end of the year. And so it was easy for me to be a bit more dismissive. It did happen. They won the game. They do get sacks, but they just look terrible. I mean, terrible. They don't look like they.
Rodgers overthrows DK Metcalf once a drive, and then,
I don't know
and
how
then when he does hit a receiver in the hands, he drops it and he goes right into the defense.
I genuinely have no idea how they have 5 wins. They look awful. I mean, wretched. It's a real shame. You just feel for them. It's a real bummer how that's going for the Steelers. I am emotional about it.
They beat the Browns.
You were not alone. Andrew Stecca was also on Pittsburgh.
They beat the Patriots.
I know, they did. So was John and Little Rock. And they beat the Colts. They beat 2 of the best teams in the AFC. Paul Valley, Ryan Shell were also on Pittsburgh yesterday. And, of course, the Ravens handle business in Minnesota. A few folks were on Minnesota for this one. Bad people. Jeremy Kahn, noted bad guy. Everybody knows that about him. Terrible
evil
human
man.
being. Everybody says that about Jeremy. What a awful person he is. Ken Zales was on Minnesota, and John in Little Rock, who's just continuing the bit, and I appreciate and respect that about him. Pick against the Ravens, see if it works out. Love you, buddy. Appreciate your efforts. So for the week, big week for James Revere as he went 7-2 to extend his lead at the top of the table. I don't know who this guy is.
He's pissing me off.
I don't know who he thinks he is coming in here, and he is very capable of winning back-to-back years.
And then he gets kicked out, right?
Well, I don't think it works that way.
No, he goes to it. He has to go to a harder league.
Oh, he's got to go to the Premier
yeah, we're in
League?
the championship. This is.
Myself and Griffin and KZ all went 6-3, but believe it or not, the high water man for the week,
Mr. Football himself,
John Proctor, 8-1 to climb out of a 7-game under 500 hole. He's back at 500.
Maybe I need to go back and double check because
8-1 week.
He's got access to the spreadsheet. Maybe he went in and
you
switched
think there
some
might have been
teams
some
around.
chicanery involved?
Yeah.
Huge week for John Proctor, separating himself from the bottom of the table.
Make sure.
Unfortunately, most everybody had a good week. Nobody was worse than 4-5, as we have rising tides and all. So KZ goes 6-3, but yet is still 2 games clear as our power bottom on the table. It's just unfortunate for him. He's doing better, but he's just not really making up much ground. It's unfortunate. You hate to see it. But you do like the fact that we as a league have stepped our game up as the season has gone on. So James Revere, 3 games in front of Griffin. Suddenly I'm in third, which is weird. I'm 4 games back. Then Andrew and Jeremy both 6 games back. Ryan, John, and John 7 games back. Kyle, 8 games back. Paul and Joe, 9. And then Ken Zales, 11 games off the pace and 2 games clear as our power bottom. That's our picks recap for the week. Let's dish out some pats on the ass. Pats are brought to you by... Oh, we didn't talk about Maryland. Do you want to talk about Maryland? I don't.
I just can't, the personal part that sucks is that I took their over 4.5. And we were after the third quarter of the Washington game,
cashing it in. You were already celebrating.
We were up 20-0 against Washington, and I was right.
Yep.
I was popping
spending
bottles.
that money,
and I thought the bet was a sure. I thought there was no possible way.
So, let's deal with it because I think a lot of people are wondering why we haven't already seen that Mike Locksley.
Malik scored that long touchdown.
He did. They actually ran the ball. I mean, a lot of it was Malik Washington, but they did run the ball. I don't think they will make a decision until they've been eliminated from bowl contention. And so I think the earliest that they would make a decision would be after they lose 2 more games.
So you feel...
What?
You feel like it's that bad?
I don't know. I don't. That's the part that I can't figure out. I know there was a little bit of reporting this weekend about it. Like, I would tell you that I think some people that care more than I do are having some of the same problems that I'm having. Taylor Lyons from the Baltimore Sun, who's been covering Maryland football. Text from a Maryland booster just now, quote, "They would have trouble coming up with the money. No one around here wants to pay buyout money, hence part of the problem," unquote. And I would tell you that I've gotten some of those same thoughts. I've also had somebody around the university tell me they would just roll it into the budget. They would just roll it in, and this notion that they're going to turn to one booster and say, hey, are you going to pay the buyout is kind of crazy. The reality is that Mike Locksley probably would not get another head coaching job, so you'd be on the hook. Like, it's also part, when we do these numbers, we say, well, how is Penn State paying $50 million? So part of their math is they're not really going to be paying $50 million. The most likely scenario is that James Franklin's going to take a coaching job. And it's not going to pay him $50 million, but they're going to be on the hook for something between those two numbers. Because what you do is you pay the difference between what someone's making and what they would have made at Penn State. That's what you're on the hook for in a buyout. So you're doing some of that calculation when you make these decisions. You are not, it's why everybody obsesses over this like clause where you have to be actively looking for a job, right? Like you have to be trying to get another job. It's because you getting another job limits how much I have to pay you. So James Franklin almost certainly is going to get another head coaching job. Not paying him as much, I don't think, but almost certainly will. Mike Locksley, probably not. So you're likely to be on the hook for the bulk of it. Like, he'd probably get a coordinator gig if he wants that. And, you know, might even get a high-paying coordinator gig. I mean, he had great success as a coordinator at Alabama. So he might get a high-paying coordinator gig. But still, you're going to be on the hook for probably more than $10 million. I've had people tell me that if that happens, they could try to roll it into the budget a little bit and just make some other decisions to cover some of that they wouldn't necessarily need one person to just be on the hook for paying it. I also...
Do we have any idea what the buyout is?
I think I remember it being $16 million, if I remember correctly.
I mean...
Apparently 13.5 is the number. It's a tough spot, man. Because then the other stuff is a factor, too. It is a factor about the talent and not wanting to lose it and not wanting to have to start from scratch. And what is Maryland hiring as a next head coach? Because I don't think John Sumrall's coming here. Who's the current Madison head coach? Who's the guy that replaced Signetti?
Good question.
I don't even remember the guy's name. Bob Chesney? Like, could you get Bob Chesney to come here? He was at Johns Hopkins for 5 years. Could you get him? He's from Pennsylvania. Maybe he'd be interested. Could you get him to come here? He played at Dickinson. How about that?
That is interesting.
Right? Huh. Could you get Bob Chesney to come to Maryland? Because if you could, then the answer would be, well, he'd just bring a bunch of players from James Madison, and that's exactly what Indiana did, right? Like, Indiana was able to stabilize by bringing in all of the players that were successful at Madison, and they translated fairly well to the Big Ten. So maybe you could replicate that. Maryland's history, unfortunately, has not been to hire established head coaches. I mean, Randy Edsall was, but that's the one. That's the only of Maryland's last hires. So Locksley, Durkin, Edsall, Friedgen, Vanderlinden, Duffner. So the last 6. So this is going all the way back to like the start of the 90s. One. And double check on that. I just want to make sure I remember where Vanderlinden and Duffner came from. Yeah, Vanderlinden was definitely a coordinator, and Mark Duffner was... he had been head coach at Holy Cross.
Okay, yeah, so you don't know what you're talking about.
No, but that's not an established FBS.
Okay.
So, one established FBS head coach. So it might very well be that if they were to go through this, that they have to say, we talked about this with, the basketball hire.
And if Bob Chesney's on the market, like how are one of these other programs not going to want to?
I mean, he's not been the name that's been the hottest on the market.
Sure.
Right?
But if there's 20 other Power 5.
I understand, man. I get it. I completely get it. But that might be, you just have to hire somebody that can bring some players with them because you're going to acknowledge that you're losing the guys that you wanted to keep around. But that's part of all of this adds up. It's easy to say if somehow Maryland, and I do think if they somehow go 0-8, I don't know that you have a choice. I just don't know that you do. But they're not going to do that before they've given them the chance. And this was the first one where it was like, dude, there's no way that you should be playing from behind this much against Rutgers. This is where you start to wonder what happened. How did you go from being as competitive as you were in other games to now trailing consistently through these games, other than when Malik Washington scored the touchdown to start? It's bad. It's bad, man. It's bad. But it is complicated, and I acknowledge the complication of it. I don't think they're going to make a decision because as I've always said, if they could somehow get bowl eligible, and I don't see it, but let's just say somehow they go out and beat Illinois this week on the road. I don't think there's a chance in hell they're doing that, but let's just say they did. Then you beat Michigan State to end the season. Somehow you're bowl eligible. I don't find it likely, but you do that, all of a sudden you can say, hey, we took a step forward this year. And as ugly as it was in getting there, you can argue that keeping the talent around and giving them another year to develop, if they're willing to stay, and that's something that, this is part of what makes an AD's job more difficult now. Yeah. Is that, if you're factoring in on that, you got to know that Sidney Stewart is good for next year, and Zahir Mathis is going to be here next year. And who was the other freshman that had a sack on Saturday? And I can't remember. Apologize. And that Zion Ely is definitely coming, and Malik. You have to do all of that math. And that's a tough thing to do. But you've got to have been in conversations with their agents and feel comfortable that your offer is still competitive and what they want and where they want to be, and that they believe in the program. Because if it feels like that's not the case, if you get even a sense that you're losing those guys, then it's not a fact. Keeping the talent isn't something you factor in.
It was Taylor, Nasir
Taylor. Thank you. That's exactly right. So yeah, I think if they lose to Illinois and Michigan, they're going to be dogs in both games.
14.5-point underdogs in Champaign.
If they lose to Illinois and Michigan, then I think it gets interesting. I guess that would be Thanksgiving week. I think it gets interesting. Yeah. And maybe at that point they have one game left to play. They're not going to, we're not doing this for funsies. They'll just let them coach the final game and then go from there. But brutal, man. It's really brutal. There's just no, and it. Look, man, you guys know I have great affinity for Mike Locksley, but you just can't defend how it feels like it's getting worse. That's the part, and I know that some of it was the competition. I certainly understand that we overvalued their play against lower competition, and I don't think we understood how bad Wisconsin really was. Did you see?
They just beat Washington.
Yeah, but did you see how they beat Washington?
Well, I know the score was 13-10.
Yeah. Their leading passer in the game was their punter on a fake punt.
Well, I'll tell you right. That's the game plan. That was the game plan. You weren't in on the the meetings all week. That was how they intended that one to go. They knew it was going to be freezing rain during the game, and
it's bad. I'm not telling you I think he needs to be fired. I still this is still Maryland football to me, because what Griffin just said to me is very real, which is who are you getting as your next coach? There's not even enough support to fire a coach right now. Who do you think you're getting? Who's looking at this and saying, I got to be there, man? I just got to have that Maryland job. And look, man, if Jim Smith has a relationship with somebody or knows somebody who knows somebody that he says, I think I can get a guy, then that's a factor in this conversation. But if this is just going to be a search firm hire and you're going to get the central casting coordinator out of all this, then my guess is you're going to be in the exact same spot moving forward.
With no player. Yeah, like it's going to be.
That's why I'm not loud. I understand. I understand that when it appears to be coming unglued the way that it appears to be coming unglued, it's hard for me to step in and say, you can't do that. I get it. Man. Like you decided to play the freshman quarterback. You decided to, and I understand the answer was like, I might not have gotten him if I didn't play him. Like, but you are where you are. Brutal. Come back in. We'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular. We'll wind things down for a Monday.
Pats on the face.
Oh, we didn't do Pats?
Yeah.
Damn it. How did we talk about Maryland?
Well, they happened.
Sucks the life out of me. Just sucks the life. Ugh. All right, fine. Let's do.
You were doing that now, or
we'll do Pats on the ass.
Okay.
Do them.
Okay.
You know the drill. 5 Ravens most deserving of praise for their performance in the win over the Vikings. 2 must be what?
Didn't realize we didn't do Pats.
I just got lost talking about the Maryland thing. It was so
well,
much
I wanted to talk about Maryland. I mean, I guess I didn't want to, but
is this my pile?
Or? Mine's the one upside down. So mine should be in order for you, and then yours is facing up.
Here we go. Pats on the ass. It's brought to you by. I knew it all along. What are you talking about? It's brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. There is Jim Smith, who might have an important decision to make here in the coming weeks. Great cover story from Don Marcus. Lots of college basketball inside that print issue of Press Box. Go get it now at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores and read it all for free at PressBoxOnline.com. All right, number 5. Tough to pick offensive players this week because there's just wasn't a whole lot happening offensively, but I'll ultimately default to Zay at number 5. He was the most reliable receiver. He made a couple of big plays on a day where it was tough to pick offensive players. I'll just default to him. He's my number 5.
This was such a weird list to have to put together. Like, I feel like
I think most defensive players I could have considered.
That's
very few offensive players.
I agree. So I also went with an offensive guy here. I went with Derrick Henry as my number 5. So I guess I'll see what I'll hear your argument later. But I just again, because it was confusing how to evaluate how they did offensively yesterday.
I dropped the thumbtack, and now I'm gonna.
Oh, and you're in bare feet too. Yeah, this is. Should I get up and help you, or should you just jump back in the chair and then I'll try to find it. Okay, all right. I was getting nervous seeing the way you were shuffling your feet. I was like, oh, you are gonna find it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right up that big toe.
That fourth quarter drive, the Derrick Henry drive, that definitely helped seal the game for them there as they went up 2 scores. And he was lead blocking for Lamar multiple times. It was just nobody stuck out. Nobody was screaming to be on the list from the offensive side. And even though Derrick Henry, I guess, didn't have quite the Derrick Henry game.
You did not put yours in order.
I did not. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought it was face down or whatever. Derrick Henry's my number 5.
It wasn't in order that way either.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's okay. I'm not mad. Blame Griffin. But I'm not mad. I just need you to know I'm not mad, okay?
All right. I mean, yeah, it's an
I'm
easy.
not mad.
It's a simple fix.
Derrick Henry's my number 4.
Okay.
Derrick Henry, again, wasn't brilliant and took him a little while to get going, but ultimately he did the things that Derrick Henry needed to do. And it was a difference maker for them in pulling away in the second half. So, yeah, Derrick Henry's my number 4.
And then I go with Ronnie Stanley as my number 4. I thought, there was certainly plenty of spots you could pick and circle on the O-line where they did not look good, but I think Ronnie Stanley was a complete. You were not worried about him at any point. I'm not sure he allowed a pressure every time that I haven't gone back and watched every single snap of the game. I'm not sure he let up a tackle either, though. Like, he was engaged with the guy every single time that there was a run to his side, and he didn't make any mistakes, and I think that was basically what the offense had to do yesterday in order to get that win, And so Derrick Henry my number 5, Ronnie Stanley at my number 4. I think there was one where because everybody saw that clip yesterday where the Bears right tackle like flatlined that one guy who was trying to put a spin move on him from the Giants.
Oh yeah,
I think somebody hit that move on Ronnie Stanley as well. He didn't push him to the ground, but he walled up and didn't let. I can't recall seeing any hurries from the left side of the line. Ronnie Stanley's my number 4.
Certainly don't think Ronnie Stanley had a bad day. I guess in general, it's tough on a day where you didn't give your quarterback a lot of time to throw the ball.
Well, so that was the other thing is that it was very clear Lamar was getting rid of the football quick. Like very quick, and that might have been part of the game plan as well, just because of knowing what Brian Flores likes to do.
Throwing short of the sticks on third down a lot in the first half. That was a weird bit.
I thought Ronnie Stanley had a really good game.
All right, my number 3 is Mike Green, who wasn't dominant necessarily, and I really struggled between because like early on in the game I thought Kyle Hamilton was the best player on the field, but as the game went on. And maybe he still was the best player on the field, and it's just that like not as much of it popped because what he was doing was allowing other guys to.
And it's the Lamar Jackson thing, like we're just so used to him having a 5-star game. It's like
had 3 quarterback hits, that huge TFL on Aaron Jones on a second down play that forced him into a 3rd and long. Mike Green was really, despite the fact they didn't record a sack. I thought Mike Green was really good, so Mike Green is my number 3.
This is where I will put Keandre Jackson on my list for my lone special teamer. I mean, that was the biggest play of the game right there. They had to kick the field goal. It just felt like they were waving the white flag's not the right term, but they were deep in the red zone. They put together a pretty sustained drive after the Marlon Humphrey interception, and then had to kick a field goal, and they were only up by 2. And then they were immediately able to punch it in, all because of this incredible play from Keandre Jackson. Because it was like, I mean, you couldn't tell what happened in live time, and then it was like, oh, Keandre Jackson got the fumble recovery. Of course he was, because he's always in on the play. And then they showed the replay, and it's like, oh my God, he punched it out and got the fumble recovery. I mean, it was an unbelievable play. Keandre Jackson comes in at number 3 for me.
Yeah, and it had been coming. Like that's the kind of crazy part about it is it's not like, hey, look at this random person that's making a play. That's cool. Like this had been coming for Keandre Jackson, and he has been active as hell and involved. And I think it's also, to me, the value of it goes beyond just the game significance. It's seeing it's the response. It's the juice. These guys, Keandre Jackson is like resonating with these guys. I don't know if it's just they like his story. They like, it's different than even other turnovers to me. Somehow these are bigger juice plays, what Keandre Jackson is doing. And so Keandre Jackson is actually my number 2 on the list. Like, you can say, hey, that's absurd. It's just a special teamer. And I'm not even really going to fight you about it because I understand. And for the day, he finished with 1 tackle. Like, it's just the juice that appears to be coming. Like the jolt that this team is getting from what this kid is doing in special teams that like I can't shake, man. Like it's wild. It really is moving into like folk hero type of status. So yeah, Keandre Jackson's my number 2.
Mike Green is where it comes in at number 2 for me because the defense was very hard. I mean, I feel like I left everyone off the list. I really do. And I'll explain why I went to but like Chidobe Awuzie, I thought had a great day. He had a few he had to cover Justin Jefferson. Like I feel weird not putting a defensive back on my list because I mean I know Nate Wiggins didn't have like a perfect day, but he was obviously covering Justin Jefferson a lot.
I think Roquan had a great day.
I think Roquan. That's the thing that's what makes it weird. Like if that interception, because it's weird because I think that was a catch. The interception.
I don't think it was ultimately, but I do understand the debate.
And if it is a catch, then I feel like Roquan's my number 1, which is the weird part about all this. The secondary held Jefferson and Addison to 7 catches for 72 yards on 23 targets. But there was, it was just a complete team effort back there. So I was like, do I put Chuck Pagano? But I have to have Keandre Jackson on the list here. So the secondary did a great job, and it was Awuzie, it was Humphrey, it was
it's one of those
Wiggins.
days where the rules of the game is bullshit, right? Like, you should just we should rip up the rules. We should say no rules, do whatever you want. No rules, just right. Write that down. We're gonna go with
no rules, just right. Mike Green was different though. I mean, it felt like he was impactful on not, you can't say every play, but he had regular pressure on 9, and he was hurrying up. He was making him antsy, and it definitely wore on him. And I mean, another one of the more massive plays of the game was that 5-yard TFL to put them back behind the line of scrimmage and force a 3rd and long. So, Mike Green was my number 2.
Travis Jones was the best player on the field. Travis Jones was awesome. We didn't talk about him enough in the post game, and I regret that because even going back and rewatching things, like, my God, did he just do a little bit of everything? And it's also what he's being asked because of the injury to Nnamdi Madubuike. Just kind of otherworldly right now. And finished the game with a sack, a TFL, 2 pass deflections, and 3 quarterback hits.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's stuff in the stat sheet for a defensive lineman. Just an awesome performance. Travis Jones, number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the exact same thing I was going to say. Like, we barely talked about him on the post game, and he had the best statistical game of anyone on the field yesterday. So, yeah, Travis Jones, number 1.
Very good. Those are our passes.
And he was getting doubled, like throughout the game. Like, it was.
I haven't really gotten. Get me yours, and you can win a Flock Yeah T-shirt, courtesy of us here at Pressbox. All right, now, Tidbit and Tubular, and we come back in. Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your number 1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Pressbox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here and winding down for a Monday edition of the program. Griffin wants me to mention that apparently Rashad Bateman was seen in a walking boot after the game, and a lot of talk about whether or not that was a hip drop tackle. The one that left him a yard short. This was the play right after he had dropped the would-be touchdown. Let me say dropped.
He was probably in on that touchdown. Now I'm watching it again now.
I thought he was live, but that's what it is.
But then because he caught the 2-point later, so it was he continued playing. So
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but it's something to monitor this week. And of course, Marlon Humphrey was wearing the cast yesterday, but he also played through it and had the interception. So seems as though not terribly concerning. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by Project Game Day, which, as I mentioned, will return. Just might be sans your boy. We'll see. Can't tell you with certainty just yet. But if you missed yesterday's show, you can check it out, and I'll be back this Sunday. Project Game Day, PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Sin, and Live Casino and Hotel. Of course, the best place to watch every big game, big fight night. Isn't there a UFC pay-per-view this week?
Yeah, there is. Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena.
And why would you pay
in MSG
$750, whatever they charge for pay-per-views
for
anymore?
a fight that's rigged anyway? So
right, that's a great point. They all seem to be. Big weekend for the folks in Cleveland. Yikes!
Oh my gosh! For $5,000.
Apparently, there was a little bit more at stake.
Okay.
Apparently,
I mean, I guess
wasn't
that's good,
just,
but it's not.
Dude, imagine. I mean, imagine. Oh. Anyway,
I loved that they were pulling the one, and they were like, of course it was Andy Pajes who swung
the
pitch and
the
screwed
ball
it
that
up.
was nowhere close, right? But yeah, the best place to watch, what is this, 322? 322 would be Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. No reason to be paying big monies for pay-per-views. Instead, watch them for free. Use that money on great food, great drink specials for the UFC fight this Saturday night. Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland.
322. Game that we didn't talk about yesterday and was probably the best one. Well, I don't know. Was the London game? The Berlin game the best one on the slate? The Jags led by 19 points entering the fourth quarter, leading the Texans. And they ended up losing 36-29. Over the last decade, teams up by 19 entering the fourth quarter. So I'm looking at this came from a betting site, but teams up by 19, leading the game by 19 entering the fourth quarter, 149-1 against the spread. And the only other loss, Falcons in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
When they were up 28-3. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it is.
Lamar played his 100th career game or made his 100th career start against the Vikings yesterday.
Oh, damn it. Is this the thing from the notes last week that you...
I don't know if it's the exact one. He's 73-27, so he won a 73rd game, fourth most wins by a quarterback through 100 starts.
Yeah, this is the exact thing.
This is the exact
from
thing?
the Ravens.
Okay.
We said we were going to... I was like, oh, I meant to include that. And you were like, I'm going to do it on Monday. And I was like, oh, yeah, you should do that on Monday. And then, idiot.
3 quarterbacks have won more games through 100 starts. Lamar won
the one that
73.
was. Oh, okay. Because I remember the name on the list was Ken Stabler.
No, not Ken Stabler.
Then that must have been who he. No, it must have been who he passed.
Oh, okay.
Then.
Gotcha.
I
guess I can figure out what they shared.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Mahomes.
Mahomes is number 1. Yes, he was 78-22 through his first 100 games. Good old 780 win percentage. 2 guys had won 76. Both
Brady.
won 76. Yes, Tom Brady won 76 games through 100 starts.
And then, man, I'm trying to think of anybody that Roethlisberger.
Not Ben.
Because you're thinking a guy like Josh Allen struggled a bit. I'll say Allen, but I don't think it's him.
It was not Allen.
Yeah, because he struggled a little bit the first year. Trying to think of other quarter. Troy Aikman obviously struggled a ton.
Not Troy Aikman.
I already guessed Rodgers, right?
Yeah, not Rodgers.
Elway.
Not Elway.
How about, man, damn, this is tough. How about
played, I guess, wait.
Yeah, no, it's 1 o'clock. Come on.
He played 10 years
on a day we had no
on one
guests.
on one team from 69 to 79.
10 years. It's not Bart Starr.
It is not Bart Starr.
Len Dawson.
No.
Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach
Okay.
won 76 games through his first 100 career games. Should I made the hint? He went to Navy instead, or
That would limit to one.
Okay.
There would only be one option.
didn't want to completely give it away, but yes, with the Cowboys, Roger Staubach won 76.
Not what Judd Apatow thought. Judd Apatow thought he went to West Point.
Where did that happen?
People forget that I was better at making a Judd Apatow movie than Judd Apatow was. That he had to acknowledge that. People forget that.
What movie did Judd Apatow say Staubach?
It was that Pete Davidson, the King of Staten Island.
Staten Island. Oh, I don't remember.
It came out during the pandemic, and we were all just looking for something to do. And so the late great Justin LeBour and I split it. Like we went halvesies to buy the King of Staten Island. And this one I had nothing to write about either. And he had
So I think the one sports reference I'm gonna write about.
Bill Burr's character in The King of Staten Island was trying to get Pete Davidson to get his ass together, and he was like, "At your age, Roger Staubach had already graduated from West Point," and I was like, "What the?" I was like, "What the?"
Well, maybe that was the point. They want Bill Burr to have his information.
But he also referenced 2 other athletes in the same diatribe and got all of the facts right about those athletes. So I clipped it. I sent it out. I was like, "What the hell, man?" And I was trying to be funny about it, but Judd Apatow did not find it funny. And again, this is during the pandemic when we had.
He said, "I'll end you."
We had the time, right? So Judd Apatow tweets me back and is like, "The point of this was that Bill Burr, the character, is supposed to be a blowhard know-it-all." And I was like, "Right, I thought that, but then I realized he got literally everything else in this diatribe correct." And then he said something else.
Apatow replied to
Yeah, and then he I was like, okay, and then on the third one he finally was like, "All right, look, Glenn got it right. I was wrong. We screwed up. Glenn's right." And I was like, "What the hell?" He was angry at me. But then he did retweet. I asked him to retweet something about we were trying to raise money to get Mo Gabba a new bed before he passed away. And so he retweeted that. So I guess we came to a what's the
truce,
phrase?
A truce?
Yeah, but there's a better phrase. There's a French phrase that people use for this.
I don't know any French.
Where you come to an agreement without necessarily you just God damn it. I wish I was smart. What I wouldn't give to be smart. And to be able to come up with words when I'm trying to say them on the radio. That would be nice. A skill that I'd like to have.
Jésus de quoi? Jésus de no,
that's not. Just go ahead. Anyway, yeah. Oh, is that it for tidbit?
I mean, I guess yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Kinda.
That's good.
Bill's Josh Allen had his average time to throw was the complete opposite of Lamar. He had 3.53 seconds to throw against the Dolphins, so they were getting no pressure on him. The longest time to throw of his career, 3.53 seconds for Josh Allen, and they still lost by 3 scores. So just kind of an interesting one I saw yesterday, and kind of wanted to share it.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you for that. Now,
of course, anytime.
Yeah, right. Let's get tubular. Tubular is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. Whatever it is that you're going through as a man of a certain age, you're dealing with performance issues in the bedroom. You're dealing with stubborn belly fat that just won't go away. You feel like you're doing the right thing. You feel like you're working out. You're eating fairly well, but your metabolism just ain't the same as when you were 20. Yeah, it happens. Some of us just feeling sluggish and run down. Maybe you're low T. Maybe. Oh, you found it.
Did I find it? Yeah, did I find it? Is this the right thing?
Well, you didn't find.
When does he reply to you?
I think he retweeted it. Was what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then other people started getting involved. Oh, did he get rid of his? I wrote about it at one point for Pret. Again, I had nothing else to write about.
Oh yeah, he did delete his Twitter.
Oh, he's not even on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that will explain.
So that one, yeah.
Probably because of this.
You got him. You bullied
probably
Judd
is
Apatow off Twitter. Add that to your bio. I guess.
It was a whole thing. We had a whole back and forth. Yeah, the first response was, the character is supposed to be a blowhard. What?
God say, that's horrible.
Yeah, well, he did. It was bad. The character is supposed to be a blowhard know-it-all who doesn't know quite as much as he thinks, so it was purposeful. Actually, we noticed that day, but then thought it was funny he was wrong. Staubach was in the Navy, was what Judd Apatow said. So I did point out, and I can't remember. Oh, man.
He saw you wrote about it. He was like,
he also included Michael Phelps and somebody else. And I said, if Ray, the character's name was Ray, had made multiple obvious mistakes, like Phelps won a handful of golds in track and field, Staubach went to West Point, then yeah, I could see that. But this was the only mistake in the entire diatribe, which made me think it might have just been a mistake. Follow up from Judd Apatow. Glenn is correct. It would have worked better.
And then he deleted his tweet.
If he had made other mistakes. And only hardcore fans know Staubach's true background. I don't think that's true. But in a way, that makes it for the perfect inside character detail for the hardcore sports fan. So this secret joke is for you, Glenn. Or did you maybe just...
He was trying to give you a boat, and you're not even accepting it.
And I love Judd. That's the craziest part. Like, I love Judd Apatow. Like, he has made every movie that I love. Like, my God. And I just was like, please don't hate me. Please, you made Superbad, dog. It's the greatest motion picture ever made. Please don't hate me.
The Giants, they fired Brian Dable.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, but they got all these injuries. And
I hear you, but, like, they needed to fire him before they made the quarterback change. The quarterback change was only going to save him for so long. And then, ultimately, this is the reality. All right. Anyway, game day men's health. I don't know how we got there. I don't know how that happened. What happened to us that we got there? Oh, you pulled up the Roger Staubach thing because I was talking about it when we were talking.
Tidbit.
Game day men's health in Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. Columbia, 443-266-3505. Frederick, 240-931-3717. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Eagles-Packers tonight. Fairly big game in Green Bay, 8:15. ESPN and ABC. Manningcast as well on ESPN2. That's about it. Rookie of the Year announcements tonight at 7 on MLB Network. ATP Finals are underway. But everything else, you can go to GlennClarkRadio.com and find it there. Non-sports.
Let me see if I can pull up this trailer for you about Caroline Flack.
Put headphones back on. Who's Caroline Flack?
Well, you're going to find out. You're going to have to find out.
This has already been here for a while today.
Well, this is the segment.
Caroline Flack.
One of Britain's most loved presenters.
Who's been found dead in her flat.
You don't imagine your daughter's going to be so successful. You just sit back and watch in amazement, really.
Love Island, Strictly, X Factor.
It's the best job in the world.
She was top of her game. The former Love Island presenter has denied charges of assaulting her boyfriend.
We saw the tide turn on her. People think they know what happened to Caroline, but the reality is much darker. There's so much information the public haven't seen.
I'm interested. I'm very interested.
She hosted Love Island or something. And,
this could be this could be our next book club selection.
So that's on Hulu today.
Okay. All right.
And I guess that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Thanks today to Cordell Woodland, and we'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the
George Clooney and Mike Tyson
tab.
Gonna be on Kimmel
at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything tomorrow?
Our normal Tuesday stuff.
Bo's going to join us. Joe Serpico is going to join us, and I don't know, maybe at some point we'll have something else.
Probably talk about football, probably.
Who knows? Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Game Day Men's Health, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, Costas Inn, Nick's Fish House, High's Dairy Stores, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. Thanks to all them. Appreciate them being a part of what we do. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks.